Sarah, how did the Raptors win Game 5 on the road?
There's a whole list we could put together, but that guy right there was absolutely masterful. And Kawhi Leonard, don't be fooled by his disposition, the energy that he comes off with. He will rip your heart out, and he did it on both ends of the court. His fingerprints were on every single aspect of the game. And before we go down to what the Raptors did, because it was led by Kawhi, but also a team effort, I thought Nick Nurse did an excellent job, too, with some of the adjustments that he made. But the fourth quarter, Kawhi Leonard came out, and he had 15 points in that fourth quarter. But the aggressiveness and assertiveness that he came out to start that quarter, I think entirely changed the complexion of what the Raptors were able to do. But whether it was a rebound, whether it was picking up a foul, knocking down free throws, the defense that he played on Giannis was a collective effort, yes, but he was just extraordinary. More than anything, though, with Toronto, I think we often talk about teams generating offense out of their defense. I think for Toronto, what switched when they were fighting back from that deficit was that their offense helped their defense. They started taking better shots. They were knocking down shots. That took Milwaukee out of the break, out of getting some of those easy transition points, and Toronto's half-court defense is deadly. Milwaukee was unable to score against that, had so much trouble finding ways to put up points because of it, and I think just in a collective effort by Toronto, they just did a beautiful job of pulling that game out.
In this series, Milwaukee's offense against Toronto in the half court is scoring about 80 points per 100 possessions. The league worst offense in the league is about 101 per 100 possessions. So in the half court, Toronto's defense has been, as you put it, masterful. It's been spectacular. And Kawhi, yesterday, I want to give Nick Nurse credit for two things. One, he recognized very early this isn't Danny Green's game, probably not his series.
Great point.
Quick trigger. Yeah. They were outscored by 17 points in the 15 minutes he played. That means in the 33 minutes he didn't, they outscored Milwaukee by 23. So he had a quick trigger with him. And the other thing he was able to do, even though this was a game Milwaukee led for the lion's share of the first three quarters, Kawhi only played 28 of the first 36 minutes, not 33 of the first 36 minutes, not 32 of the first 36 minutes. What did that allow him? To start the fourth quarter fresh, play the entire quarter, and he had 10 points within the first 5 minutes of that fourth quarter, and then he iced it with he didn't ice it with some free throws, but he hit some free throws late, and his defense has been Kawhi Leonard level, which is, I believe, the best perimeter defender we've had in this league since Scottie Pippen, all series long. I don't think Giannis has been bad. I think Giannis has been stopped. I think Giannis has dealt with Kawhi and company. And the other last point I'll make on Kawhi is 9 assists. We've never seen it from him. That's a career high. That was, when you were talking about Kawhi, could he become the best player in the game? I said he's an A to an A+ at everything you do on the court, except for playmaking, where he's about a C for his career. 9 assists in that game. He led to a total of 62 points because all 9 assists, you said all 9 were on?
All 9.
Were on threes.
On 3 points.
That's insane. So he was unbelievable. He's the guy that you've been saying he is all year long.
I know the people really close to Kawhi. Like, this is more than just basketball with him, because if you look at it, we hadn't had a top 5 player that had fallen out of graces with the public as fast in the way Kawhi did. The Kawhi that we see in this interview, this is the Kawhi that we loved in San Antonio. But most of the general public, most of the media decided in this dispute with Kawhi and the organization, they decided to take San Antonio's side without knowing all the information. They let a couple reports saying that Kawhi didn't want to play, that he was healthier and he was leading on. Tony Parker saying my quad injury was worse than Kawhi's. Man, Kawhi, there's no player that has turned it around more than Kawhi Leonard. And to see him get injured in game number 3, because that was when the series changed. When Nick Nurse, he's made some great adjustments. Danny Green with a quick trigger, he had to do that because he was awful in the first 4 games. But him deciding, 2 games we're down, I'm getting ready to put my best player on your best player. Kawhi gets injured earlier in that game, but he has outplayed Giannis. He has put his chest on Giannis the last 3 games, and the totality of it leads to Giannis turning the ball over, Giannis not being comfortable at the free throw line, but Kawhi has made it tough on him. Kawhi scored 35 points. People know that. Their other starters, the 4, they scored 35 points themselves. So him, Van Fleet, and their defense collectively. That's how they win on the road in game number 5, Jenna.
Sarah, the more success that Kawhi is finding in Toronto, are we starting to see maybe a little more of an opening that he might actually stay there?
I've always thought that. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? I'm not sure Kawhi is even decided yet, and I think, it's going to be interesting to see how the season plays out. But I think Toronto has done everything they could possibly do to make Kawhi feel comfortable, whether it's from the medical staff, from how Nick Nurse has given him so much authority in the minutes that he wants, how he goes about through the season. There's a great level of comfort. So now you add
he's been playing.
This winning aspect, the team around him, and with Kawhi, and real quick, CC, before, the things that he does, there's often people talk about with point guards, and it said just because you're a ball handler, just because you can handle the ball doesn't mean you're a point guard. His feel for the game and his understanding, to your point about the assists, he understands the flow of the game and what's needed where, and that's one of the adjustments Nick Nurse made. Milwaukee kept taking away his right. They were trying to force him left. What does he do? He puts him on the right side of the floor so that he get right into the middle of the floor. And Kawhi knows exactly how to find his teammates, where they're going to be, who's the next pass away. And I think they've all collectively, their level of confidence has been elevated because of the personality of Kawhi, because of the way Kawhi acts. And so, yeah, to me, it's going to be interesting to see because I think there's a lot of moving parts, but Toronto has done everything they can to keep
I think you make a great point as far as the medical staff. They hired someone specifically who Kawhi wanted to be able to work with, and they've had great success. Someone there on the staff who works with the team, very, very familiar with Kawhi. Bringing Danny Green over was very, very important because Kawhi doesn't have a lot of friends. It's not as if he's not friendly, but that made him more comfortable in the transition. A few things you should watch, and this is something he never had in San Antonio. Nick Nurse went to him before the game and told him, because the one thing I missed out on yesterday not reporting was behind the scenes, Kawhi was feeling a little bit better after game number 4. Even though he had a little setback, started cramping up a little bit late in the game. He was feeling better. Nick Nurse told Kawhi Leonard, take over the game. He has never been told that in San Antonio. So not only have they done things from a medical standpoint, not only from a teammate standpoint, my question is right now with Kawhi Leonard in the basketball world watching him, would another free agent come to Toronto and join him? Because who wouldn't want him as a teammate? You hear the sound bites after the game. You hear him at the podium after the game. Who wouldn't want that guy as a teammate? So what they've done, they put themselves in position that someone's going to have to knock them off, and that being the Clippers or the Knicks. I believe it's a 3-horse race. Kawhi is a guy who's loyal. He likes loyalty. But Toronto and what they've done, and Nick Nurse, the last thing I'm going to say, I didn't know if someone else could grow Kawhi's game after what he went through with Popovich. But the reason why he wasn't a great playmaker in San Antonio was because the offense, it wasn't called for him to be a playmaker. Nick Nurse has made Kawhi better. He's put him in better positions that he can evolve as the superstar that he is. So, yeah, right now, if there is a favorite, it's got to be Toronto.
And the one other thing that he's put himself in position for, and the team has put themselves in position for, even though they rested him for 22 games, if they could win Game 6 or Game 7, the NBA Finals start in Toronto. They also have home court over the Golden State Warriors. Despite doing the load management thing, that might have made them punt on the 1 seed in the East, but not the 1 seed against whomever was going to come out of the West. That could be enormous as well. And these more moments, the more moments you have of great memories, to me, of course, the more likely you are to stay. Got one more win to get there.
All right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.